Well, good afternoon, folks. We got David Whitehead. His channel on Rumble is altogether DW Truth Warrior. Altogether, DW Truth Warrior. Make sure you go give him a follow. I've been following him for a couple of months. He is amazing, a wealth of knowledge. I understand you are into philosophy, history, geopolitical, radio talk show, educator. You are also into martial arts and you're a teacher. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of a mixed bag. All this stuff just used to be a hobby and then it became really relevant. So I thought I should probably do something. And the one thing I could do was to do a podcast and interview people and cover all this knowledge and information that I've been collecting for quite some time. So that's what I do now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Guys, before we start, okay, just to give you guys a quick update, what happened was we were down to 2 strikes. 1 strike got wiped out, which means we only had 1 strike left on YouTube. We woke up and my wife said, hey, we're back to 2 strikes. They strike us on a video that was, December of 2021. So I have I got like hundreds of videos over the months that we've accumulated. So what I did is I wiped out a bunch of them, but I'm sitting here for 3 days and I'm speculating, what if I just wiped the freaking channel clean because if they want to come back and give me another strike, that means my channel's gone, right? But if there's nothing to strike, so I put them in a checkmate situation, if you understand what I'm saying, okay? So guys, before we get started, go to Rumble, okay? Make sure you share us on your social media, subscribe to our Rumble channel, make sure you get the merchandise. You got to decorate yourself because people are going to ask you, we're going to Nesara, Gesara, whether you like it or not. That's the new world. It's coming. There's nothing you could do about it. We're burning down the old system. We're never going back to the old system. QFS1776.com is without question the holy grail of what's to come. You got no choice. You got to learn it because it's put together in a chronological order, an elementary order where a 75-year-old grandmother or a 12-year-old kid can understand what it is. Go and, eventually you're going to learn the lingo that's more, obviously more advanced, and you'll go down to the Telegram group down below. And that's pretty much it. Brother, I've been watching you. I love what you stand for. You're up in Canada. And I got a lot of friends up in Canada. I understand a lot of you guys are moving down to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. My friend from here in Costa Rica just moved down there. He said, you're not going to believe this, but there's hundreds and hundreds of Canadians down in Puerto Vallarta. But anyway, brother, welcome to the show. Let's talk about the quantum financial system. Let's talk about what you know. I know you've been following some of the stuff that I've been putting out there. Do you really believe that there's only, one guy on the field, Klaus Schwab, or do you believe that there is some validity to this Gesara and Nesara, David?
Honestly, it's not something I followed that much. I heard bits and pieces. I've seen some of your work. I'm still learning about it. I've heard both sides of it. I get some people coming on and saying it's all bullshit. Other people are really into it. I don't know specifics, so I won't comment on that. But I would say this. There's a lot of indications that absolutely the globalists, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, are definitely not the only players on the board. Aside from just looking at the amount of people around the world that are trying to kick their World Economic Forum puppets out of office, and whether it's all perfect or they're getting perfect candidates to replace them, that's another debate. But the fact is the sentiment is there in Canada, in America, in Italy, in the Netherlands. I mean, for crying out loud, look what's going on there. So there's many freedom fighters, patriots, truth warriors out there that are trying to come at this from different angles and wake people up, and it's having an effect. You're seeing the media react to that. You're seeing the government react to that. I think they're squirming. There's so much information coming out on numerous fronts right now. So to me, that indicates that there's 2 elements at work here. There's the people, the average folk like us that are fighting this, but there's also, in my opinion, there's got to be players at the top in the government, in the military, in even in corporate finance and all over, because there's humans everywhere. And there's people out there that go, you know what? I don't want to go along with this globalist satanic agenda anymore. And they've switched sides, or there's something big going on, maybe even bigger than all that, that I've definitely looked into. And I think that there's some validity to it. So this is a war. This is the war for freedom of our generation. And I think that we're about to see some crazy things that I don't think humans have ever experienced or witnessed before. And so hopefully something like this new system is in the pipeline or something like it. but we definitely do need to take control of our financial system. We need to create a free market. We need to be independent from this bankster cartel, because they've been haunting this world for too long and putting us in debt. And we need a reset. All right. We just don't need Klaus Schwab's reset. We need a freedom reset.
Absolutely. Now, about 4 hours ago, I made an announcement inside my Telegram group that I was going to be interviewing today. Obviously, you got some fans out there. And some guy said to me, do you know that he's also a state national expert? Is that true? I didn't know. So I went to your, I believe, your bio on, I forget, one of these social medias, LinkedIn, I think it was. And it didn't mention anything there about you being a state national. Are you a state national?
A state national? No, I'm not. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
State national, getting off the grid legally, not paying taxes, just literally basically thumbing your nose at the system. There's a way to do that legally, not illegally, not end up in jail and pay zero, corporate tax, zero income tax, all that stuff. So you don't do that.
Right. I'm not that, because there's a lot of people in Canada that have tried this and they're all in jail. So it's a little bit different in Canada. We're in a really big shit show right now where we're like pre-Venezuela. So trying that kind of shit, the courts are corrupt, the government's corrupt, the police are corrupt. We're in a bad spot. So if anybody, even if we were right, there is no, in my opinion, there's no legal way where you're not going to get arrested in Canada to do that. Maybe somewhere else, but not here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching one of your interviews and you said something that really struck a nerve with me, Dave. You said that you're like sort of like an information junkie, which means you're like me. You got the same disease I got, And, you said that if you don't get any information for like a 24-hour, 48-hour period, you start going into like some kind of withdrawal symptoms. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
Well, just what it is I've always just had an insatiable curiosity, man. Like, I just want to know what's up. I see all these things happening. I've experienced a lot of this directly. I did some work in Hollywood for a number of years. I've known a lot of people on the inside, and I just went, I gotta know more. And when I can't just have it all put into my head. It gets crazy. You got to have an output. And that's what my show is. That's what my work is it's like a creative, expressive process of all this information that I get. And so daily I'm up on my Telegram, my Twitter, trying to keep things current, get people updated on what's happening, make some jokes, because you definitely got to laugh. We've got great meme material going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just do this because I love the people I'm working with. I love shows like this. I love independent thinkers. I love the people that follow the show, because we're all having a great conversation. It's global. The resistance is mounting. And I honestly just want to be a part of this time, man. It's so crazy.
So do you follow the 17th letter in the alphabet? Obviously, I think you do, right? Because I remember Trudeau going away for like a couple of days, and then he came back like 2 days later. Only one problem. This guy is about 18 pounds heavier than the last guy, pretty evident. I think
there's definitely some body doubles. Yeah.
Was that a body double or was that a clone?
I don't even know. It's freaky, man. You watch some of these clips of Biden and some of these people, they look different on different days of the week. They got little lines like behind their jawline. You're like, is that a mask? Is it going to be Jim Carrey coming out saying, I was playing him the whole time? I don't know. It seems like something like that's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, about the whole 17 thing, I followed that from the beginning, mostly in and out, very curious about it because of the statements that were made. And I often tell people that have problems with it, they're like, look, nothing happened. It was a big psyop. I'm like, well, we were given intelligence information that honestly, people in my community, I came from the old school truther community, back to the days of like Ted Gunderson, William Cooper, all the original guys, Jordan Maxwell, Michael Gesara, David Icke. I came from that group, and they were looking at it from the outside. And then when we started having this anonymous poster covering a lot of that information and just telling people stuff, and seeing the movement of it, I was like, wow, this is incredible. There must be something to it. So, I'm still fingers crossed. I can't wait to see everybody getting towed away in handcuffs and all that stuff. Maybe it's already happened. I don't know. But what I do tell people is, have you even gone and read any of those posts yet and seen what was shared? And yeah, people made predictions about it, but that's people making predictions. That doesn't mean it's the thing itself. So it's become a really divisive topic in the alternative community. And so what I try to focus on is not focusing on the post or the guy. I just go to the actual source and go, here it is. Here's what's actually going on. And in the end, we need to awaken these people. We need to get freedom on the move, and we need to take our countries back. And I think that's what the whole agenda was. I think it was a psychological operation, but not all psychological operations are bad, and they're not run by always the bad deep state players. Sometimes it's a counter to countering all of this media propaganda. And I saw in those posts, they're encouraging the Socratic method. They were encouraging independent thinking. They were encouraging strong community, core values of the country. Pay attention to these video clips, watch the symbolism, all these things that you never really got from so many other elements in this movement, that I was like, wow, if this is a psyop, what an amazing psyop, because it's actually getting people to pay attention to things they weren't paying attention to before. So, and then it's been interesting to watch Trump's journey. It's been really a roller coaster to watch what's gone on. Trump has been the guy that came and tipped the apple cart and started making waves and calling out all the globalists and pointing out these things. And when you see there's been a correlation to a lot of these drops and a lot of this intel, it makes you wonder. So I stay open about it. But I always tell people, if you don't even like getting into that stuff, you can independently verify a lot of this information for yourself. And you don't have to be a part of any clique if you don't want to. It's all there. And that's what I try to do on my show. I've been doing it since even before Q was around or any of these guys. And I just like seeing that, and now people are more aware of it. And I get people sending me all these videos that they're taking apart, all the interviews, all the red carpet events, the Queen ceremony, the Queen funeral, and they're picking out the symbolism. And I'm like, okay, good. Now we're getting into the real level of awareness of this stuff. So that's what's positive about it.
Yeah, people, there's a lot of new people just waking up. Again, back to, Trudeau, there's no doubt that there is a striking resemblance between him and Fidel Castro. There's no paternity test needed. I mean, you don't have to be a paternity doctor to understand that this is Fidel Castro, 2.0 running Canada. No question about it. Now, out of the box thinking, okay, the problem is, as soon as you get to one of these normies and you get them to come out of the box for just a little bit, don't you notice that they start to short circuit and they want to get back in the box as quickly as possible, because that's where they can marinate in their own ignorance, and that's where they feel the most comfortable and there's no pressure there. Isn't that what you're getting?
Oh, 100%. And that's actually part of this massive the real psychological operation that's going on. It's been going on for a long time. They know how to induce trauma and awaken ancient trauma. And when they do that, you get people in fear, and then people are going, well, how do I relieve the fear? How do I relieve the fear? And then they go, oh, here's a bunch of rites and rituals for you to do that will help you express the fear. And that's where all the rules and guidelines and all that. And so that's more attractive to people that aren't free inside. They don't really want freedom because freedom terrifies them, because there's too much risk involved. And so it's what the government has offered us, and this deep state apparatus has offered us, is the illusion of security. And they've said, give us your freedom, and in exchange, we'll give you fake security, the feeling that we're going to make you safe and take care of you and all that. It's the nanny state that they're offering. Exactly. But as the great, I think it was it Benjamin Franklin or some of the original founding fathers that said something to the effect of, well, if you exchange liberty for security, you'll end up with neither. And so it's as if humanity has to go through that again to experience it. And now people are like, can I get my subscription to communism revoked now? I'd like to turn it off now. People have had enough. But even that, they wake up to one thing and then you go, oh, guess what? It wasn't just about locking you down. With this goes into everything. And I think that's too much for people. I think it's just too much. So that's why this has to be a slow drip feed of awakening people little bit by little bit before we get any kind of flood of information. Because people literally, I think society and civilization would melt down if we got it all at once, Oh
yeah, no. A reality is, you said something that struck a nerve with me in one of your videos. You said that the tyrant is the one who usually manufactures the fear, but they also create a component that removes the fear. Can you explain that to our audience, what you mean by that?
Yeah. So this is how they create mass formation psychosis. We've heard this term flying around, right? It's something that isn't just some natural thing. They know how to create this. They know how to induce this. And what you're saying there is that's the way they do it. They just got to give you a boogeyman. They got to make you afraid. They'll be like, guys, the climate is going to melt down and the moon is going to crash into the earth and the sun is going to explode unless you pay us carbon taxes. So there's got to be a fear base. They always have the solution of what they really want you to do, well planned in advance. And so when they get you afraid, you're going to be in a position of, well, there's nothing little me can do. So I need the government, or who these people are, I need them to come in. We need Klaus Schwab to come in and change things to get rid of this fear. And they give you a lot of rituals and ceremony to help you express that. And this is how you keep people in a sort of trance, like a hypnotic trance. So they've studied the psychology. They've studied individual psychology and also mass and group psychology. And what do you think all those black projects were about? What do you think MK Ultra was about, or Project Sign, or any of these other projects? They spent billions of dollars for decades studying the human mind and how to alter your behavior and make you do things against your will. They know how to do this. And this has also been known in the ancient world. How do you think these pharaohs and kings and queens and priests have maintained power for so long? They know how you tick. So I just tell people the dynamic of it, the history of mind control, the history of what the media really is and who they really work for. They don't work for you. They're not journalists. They're not scientists. They're activists, and they're shills that are run by intelligence agencies that are trying to implant ideas in your head to change you, because ultimately they want to change the order of your country, and they want land, resources, and people. In order to do that, you need mind control. So that's how I look at it. And then I tell people, well, this knowledge isn't just scary. It's not something you should go, oh my God, I'm helpless. You got to say, no, knowing this means that the solution is if you learn how to see the mechanisms of this mind control and you learn how to take your own mind back, then and when you see the deception, you can't be deceived anymore. You can't be hypnotized anymore. And then you're out of the matrix. So that's all we're trying to do, is point out, here, look at the wires. Look at how he's doing the magic trick. Look what they're telling you over here. Look at the contradictions. And by showing that, you're cleansing people's mind from all this garbage that has been put into their heads since they were young.
Yeah, they bring in the brightest minds of CIA, working along with the best psychiatrists, the best psychologists, evil fuckers, right? To come up with the linguistics to fuck you, literally. That's what they've been doing. The whole thing is one big game of charades, and people don't understand. Why weren't they able to penetrate, David Whitehead? Why weren't they able to penetrate Mel Carmine?